is Gina, and I have cervical cancer, and this is my story. And I guess the best place to start is at the beginning. Around March of '07 of last year, I started noticing that every time my boyfriend Nick and I would have sex, I would bleed. And for a little while, it was not so often and every once in a while. And then it got, as the months went on, it became more and more often. And it was every time we had sex, I bled. And it didn't matter what position or how gentle, I would bleed. So I really started to become concerned. So I made an appointment with my gynecologist. So in about September, I went and saw my gynecologist, and she did a pap smear and tested me for the HPV virus. And after the exam, she said that she didn't see anything abnormal, that everything looked fine. There were no lesions and no discharge, and she was pretty confident that, it wasn't anything major. So she gave me an antibiotic to take for a few weeks, hoping that would resolve the problem. Well, several weeks went by, and I took the antibiotic, and it didn't work, and I was still having the bleeding. So she brought me back in and gave me my results from my pap test and said that everything came back normal, that there was nothing, they didn't find anything, and that I did, however, test positive for the HPV virus, the cancer causing strand. So she wanted me to come back in for what was called a colposcopy, which is basically they just look at your vagina under a microscope. And along with that, she also wanted to take a biopsy of my cervix to find out why I was still having all the bleeding. So in about December, I went back into the office and had my colposcopy and my biopsy done. And she said it would be a few weeks before the test results came back. So, of course, over the next several weeks, I was scared and worried and expected the worst. So, I think it was about the first week of January, I called her office and to find out my results, and the secretary put me right through to her, and I could tell instantly from the sound of her voice that it wasn't good. And I really don't think, even now, months later, I couldn't tell you what all she said on the phone, because all I heard was, "You have cancer." I did vaguely catch, "This is the oncologist you need to call," and the phone number, but everything in between was kind of blurry, and I couldn't even tell you. And when I hung up the phone, all I could do was cry. I couldn't even talk. And every time I would go to say, "This is what the doctor said," I would just burst into tears. And so I was at work at the time, and luckily I have a really good boss who let me go home. So I went home and began making phone calls to my boyfriend and my close friends, and my family, to let them know what was going on and what happened. And for the next few days, I just walked around. I just felt like everything was moving in slow motion, and I was just in a haze, and this wasn't me, and this happens to other people, and this can't be happening to me. I'm only 31, and I have small kids, and what am I going to do? And, I didn't know what to say. I was just numb. So a few days later, I got the call back from from the oncologist office, setting up the appointment. And the day that I walked in to the building, that's when it really hit me that, oh my God, I have cancer. And it kind of felt really surreal, and very much felt like I was not me, and it was like an out-of-body experience. Like, this isn't me walking in here, this is somebody else. It can't be me. But unfortunately, it was me.